In today's breaking story, President Bush's speechwriter just dropped a viral bomb on Donald Trump. That's right, Trump isn't even safe from the Republicans. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, Donald Trump is a disaster, and a lot of this is partially because he is mentally unwell.
You just called the president unwell again. What do you mean by that?
Well, he's aging, aren't we all? I think we can very much notice that. He's a different man than he was in his first term. He's slower, he's a little more lethargic. But much more important to me is what he is saying before the world. That meeting with the generals, number one, allowing the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to call in more than 800 military leaders from around the globe was an extraordinarily dangerous, reckless, vain thing to do on both of their parts, pulling them out from the theaters where they are working and leading. And then to stand before them, rambling about how he walks on stairs, what wars he's solved, that he doesn't like the design of battleships. Does he want them to be gold or something? Just bizarre comments that meandered. I noted that one of the generals, I'm somebody who takes a lot of notes whenever I'm in some meetings, and apparently some of the generals were trying to take notes and they just abandoned their notes because it was incoherent and very dangerous, sending a message to other world leaders that what you thought was the United States as the indispensable nation, as Madeleine Albright used to talk about, maybe is very much less so. I am gravely worried for the leadership of the United States.
And still, Republicans' hypocrisy continues to be called out.
Tell me how you see this moment in our politics.
Well, you know that in addition to being a lawmaker, I'm also a seminarian. And if you read the New Testament, Jesus doesn't spend most of his time preaching or teaching or even praying. He spends most of his time healing the sick. Right now, we have politicians in Congress with Christ follower in their Twitter bio, but they are kicking the sick off their health care. We, as lawmakers, especially those of us who proclaim a devout faith, have a special obligation to heal people, not make them sicker. I feel like we oftentimes sanitize this discussion about healthcare by talking about premiums and continuing resolutions, but a budget is a moral document. What happens to people when they can't afford their health insurance? Diabetics ration their insulin, seniors skip their medications, and ultimately people die. And that's exactly what will happen if these Republican cuts are all passed.
And now, President Bush's speechwriter just dropped a viral bomb on Donald Trump. That's right, take a look at today's top story. George H.W. Bush's former speechwriter just went viral after torching Pete Hegseth and President Trump's massive Pentagon spectacle. Conservative columnist Peggy Noonan unleashed a scathing takedown in the Wall Street Journal, mocking Hegseth's recent speech to nearly 800 of America's top generals and admirals. She called the gathering an unprecedented extravaganza that made the United States look weak, not strong. Her most brutal line, she said Hegseth paced the stage like a strutting gelled bantam, like an amped-up actor with rehearsed gestures and expressions. That image alone is blowing up online. But Noonan didn't stop there. She blasted Hegseth's priorities, reminding readers that instead of inspiring the military, he used the stage to rail against diversity programs and even floated a height requirement for service. She wrote that the entire message could have been sent in an email, and she zeroed in on something even more dangerous, reports that Hegseth's Pentagon is considering rules requiring journalists to have their work pre-approved before publication. Noonan called that nuts, warning it would make America look exactly like what its enemies say it is, a place where freedom is fake and the press is controlled by government censors. The timing of this viral op-ed is especially brutal for Trump. Just days ago, he and Hegseth tried to project power with their giant Pentagon event, Instead, they're now being ridiculed by one of the Republican Party's most respected voices, a woman who literally wrote speeches for a US president. This isn't just an attack from Democrats, it's a blistering critique from inside the GOP's own history books, and it's landing like a bomb on Trump's defense secretary. Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.